Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's time for AMA number 17. 17 is not a significant number in my eyes. If it's your birthday, I apologize. Happy birthday. Three things before we get to the whole video. I'm wearing a cap because I can't go to the barber. Usually I go to the barber 3 times. I mean, not 3 times, but once every 3 weeks. Just to get a nice trim, get a fade going. Number 2, still no spicy sauce. It hasn't arrived. I'm going to do it in, my idea is to do one of the AMAs in a style where I'm eating something spicy as I'm doing it, It's going to be exciting, so just bear with me. I apologize. Sorry. Third, C9 fans, I was wrong, yeah? I know that I phrased myself wrong, but I didn't bother go back to change it, so I guess it was out there, I'm exposed. Blabber shat on Sanskrit. Let's be honest. Blabber destroyed that best of 5. Destroyed. I was reading some memes that the old C9 players were acting as C9 operatives, which is fair considering the gameplay. But C9, clear, best team in North America. I don't think anyone honestly comes close. Yeah? And what I said still stands true though. I think if you want to beat C9, you have to do it through the mid 2v2. I don't think Jizuke had like a horrible series. I think they had worse problems than Jizuke, I think just Blabber smurfed. Licorice was by far the better top lane. I think like Bang and Jizuke were playing the game and the rest were kind of having, a situation where they get heavily outperformed. But nevertheless, for now, I apologize to you C9 fans. Until the next thing that comes up, Up until the next thing. Maybe a question that springs us in that direction, I remember the history of C9 will go 0-6 in this group, which I think, was a fair assessment. It was a fair assessment considering they, in my opinion, was the weakest team in that group. They went and got a couple of victories on the first day, but then they didn't get out of the group. And lo and behold, my point still stood. Nevertheless, Blabber and Niski clearly the better 2v2 mid. Yeah, clearly. No worries, yeah? We move on. Sorry. Vani looks, hey Yamato, did you hear about Huni's contract situation and what do you think was the reason Dig allowed him to possibly leave the team? Too big of a contract or bad performance? Well, it could be many reasons. It could be Huni looking to explore. It could be financial, it could be the team's decision, who knows? I don't know the state of their contract, or if they're forced to keep him on, or if they can just cancel the contract, or if the money is, apparently the money is not guaranteed if he leaves. So it's something that, we can only speculate about, and I think after the performance of Dignitas, especially after the first initial weeks when they were winning a couple of games, everything kind of went to shit, and I think either way, whether it's Huni that's unhappy or the team being unhappy with Huni, I think both could be very true, right? But it's all speculation, so who knows, we'll just have to wait and see. MTXYZ, do you think C9 is the top Western team at the moment, or is LEC still superior? I think the LEC has been quite dangerous. I think Fnatic, Fnatic is just miles ahead of everyone. G2, I didn't watch their games today. I need to go back and watch them to really get an opinion of how good they are. So it's hard for me to speak on them just in this moment as I'm recording. I think in the context of G2 and Fnatic, I wouldn't put C9 in the same boat. I just can't. And C9 still have so much to prove because they are a victim of their circumstance. They are dominating the playoffs, they are doing super well regionally, but the league has been very, very silly. It's North American LCS has been really, really strange, this split. I'm sure everyone can agree. The level has been awkwardly low with the absence of a strong Team Liquid. Because that is going to, with the absence of a strong Team Liquid, that's also going to impact the practice of all the teams and the growth of every team. For example, now in Europe, Fnatic is really good. Whenever any team practices against Fnatic, they get better, they learn, and it kind of echoes within the region. C9 has always been decent, right? C9 is great now domestically, but they've always been decent, right? So the level of increase in the practice and the level that they are bringing to the region is much smaller in contrast to what Team Liquid dropped, right? We had the champions going down to 9th place, right? So it's very hard to judge how strong C9 is. I would not be surprised if they can do decently, but I would also not be surprised if they would just straight up lose against these teams, right? I'm meaning G2 and the last one, the Fnatic, right? So if I had to put money on it, I would say Fnatic is just the most superior team right now, because the level of intricate details in terms of how the lane phase goes and how they impact each other's positions on the map and how they team fight and how they draft is just... Fnatic is giving me serious G2 2019 vibes, and those vibes are popping. Raging CLV asks, do you prefer being a content creator, analyst, caster, or do you miss being a coach or even a player? What particular role have you done that you enjoy and or miss the most, and why? I'm gonna level with you guys. I miss coaching. I really, really miss coaching. I miss the pressure. I miss the competition. I miss the responsibility. I miss the community. You know, the bond you have with your players in such an environment where you all come together and you try to overcome. I really, really miss this. And maybe I miss this even more during these times because we're all in isolation now. So coming into work and working on something, building on something together is really amazing. And watching people grow and giving and seeing that turn into something is just the most rewarding thing I can think of. You know, when I look at some of the players that I got to work with in the past, the absolute honor to work with the past, and I get to see them play today, many, many years after, and to know how they evolve and how they grow as people, and you know, having that gratification that you know, there was a point in time where you really, really believed in them, and seeing that all come into fruition, that's just irreplaceable. Don't get me wrong, like, casting is amazing. You know, I got to cast with Trevor, I got to cast with Dracos. It's definitely a wild ride. But then the moment's gone. What's next? That's how I am, right? It's always, what's next? What's next? Qualify to Worlds, what's next? Groups. Win groups, what's next? Barring, of course, I haven't gotten out of groups. But it's always, what's next? What's next? And being on a team and working for an organization, that's so much easier to see always. The bigger goal, the bigger picture. And I miss that. I really, really miss that. But I'll be back. Kirlan PCMR asks, where do you see Razork's ceiling? So I like to judge players. You know, I've thought about this a lot, and I realized that the easiest way for me to judge players is knowing them better personally. Razork is a person that I know very little of. And when it comes to junglers in general, there's not a lot of junglers that stick around. Have you guys noticed? They get reshuffled, and eventually they get pushed out. And there are very few junglers that stand the test of time, because jungle constantly changes. For all we know, the jungle changes so much, and it's just something that Razork will hate so much next year that he's gonna be the worst jungler ever. Or maybe the jungle changes in a way that Razork becomes the best jungler, right? But in general, summarizing Razork's level of play, I don't think it's you know, there are some core jungle things that you can still point to, right? In terms of knowing if a jungle is good or not. And I think the largest part of Misfit's success was Forbiven and Razork. I think they went on that big win streak because of them, and he deserves credit where credit is due. I think he did a lot of smart jungle decisions. I think he had an okay champion pool, nothing out of the ordinary, and he had a very good rookie split for a jungle. And I think definitely he is not reached his ceiling just yet. This is my best guess. I don't know how he is as a person, but good for a split, for sure. Deserved rookie with a split. Quirky Cast's best part of visiting Melbourne in 2015. So when I tell you, the people in Australia are just so amazing. Honestly, just walking in the street, I was having this, you know, I didn't realize that, you know, when someone begins to talk to you, that you're just supposed to walk away because it just happens so often. So some guy on the street was like, yeah, what do you think about this? I was like, well, I don't know, man. And they just started talking, having a conversation, and then Spawn had to come and pull me. He's like, dude, just walk away. It's all right. He just wants to have a conversation. It's like, all right. Nevertheless, it was cool. The day drinking was cool. You know, it was such a chill event, you know, just relaxing, and it was just the right people and the right place for it. Because I think that the atmosphere there and the lifestyle just made me so chill, you know. There was not a negative thought in my body when I was there, and it felt good. I think it was the perfect event for me to have there because I could really let loose and have a lot of fun moments together with the Oceanic broadcast, and of course some of the European writers as well. It was a blast, a lot of fun moments. We had the Caitlyn 1v1, that was fun, against Rusty. We had the Vegemite sandwich.
It tastes like the tears of the Oceanic players. Like really salty. Really salty.
There was a lot of top Reddit posts out of this event, and it was nice. I loved it. Good memories. Private body parts. Salute. Making the switch from coach to on-air talent, what was the hardest thing to get used to? And a cheeky second question, do you have a system in place to try and improve your color casting from game to game? Well, the switch necessarily from coach to on-air talent wasn't the most difficult thing. It was more about coach to freelance. It was more about, you know, getting used to doing content and working YouTube, streaming, and this was very strange. It's a very, very different lifestyle, and I think the excitement of the beginning of it makes it easy because you're very energetic about trying something new. But with the timing of it all, this is the worst timing to go freelance ever. I went freelance when coronavirus hit. I started investing in stocks this year. I don't know if it's just RNGesus struck me down with great vengeance and furious anger. It's rough. And I think with the context of that, I don't know how it would be to coach in the current circumstances. So I just can't make a comparison. I don't know how it would be to coach remotely, because this is something that I've done a very long time ago, and I rely on body language, reading players and connecting with them. Maybe through cameras you would figure something out, and the challenge of it would be exciting too. But it's very hard for me to compare it because of COVID-19. I don't know how it would be to coach right now. So the hardest thing to get used to is still the whole COVID situation. And for the second question about system in place, I'm very fortunate to be surrounded by people that really, really know their shit, man. It's the information that I can take from Frostcurrent, from Quickshot, from Dracos is just amazing because they've mastered their craft. They're so good at what they do, and they can recognize the holes I might put myself in before they even happen. So this is the most amazing thing, you know. Whenever I hear some like a golden nugget come from their mouths, I'm like, holy, this I'm gonna cherish this and add it, you know, put it into my stew, 100%, because they are sharing gold. And my tip to you is, whenever you're surrounded by people that know much, be a sponge. Listen. Very important. Recognize what you don't know and recognize the people that do. And if they're there available to help you, take it. Second, I just review. I listen to myself. which is, it's alright, It's weird to listen to yourself, I know, but I have a nice voice. People tell me. Obelisk00, when is TSM Yamato becoming a thing? Millie W, if Fnatic wins the split, do you agree or disagree with Thorin's tweet about Nemesis ranking alongside other mid-LEC winners? For reference, Nemesis will replace 2015 Forbidden as the worst mid to win EULCS LEC if Fnatic get it done. Will be the main outlier in my theory. You need an elite mid to win the region. Well, Thorin is talking about how his opinion is that to win LEC you need to have an elite level mid laner, and he's not considering Nemesis to be an elite level mid laner. What an elite mid laner is of course, up for debate. It's subjective. In the context of the mid laners that have won, so let's think about it. Froggen one time. The one time he did it, clearly he was better than every mid laner in the region. Clearly. If we go back even further, when Expected was winning and so forth, honestly at that time I can't remember. I can't remember when he was winning back in Season 3. I don't remember how well he played, but he was fantastic. And, there was Lemon Dogs, there was Alex Ish on Gambit, and there was Froggen still. I can't speak with good conscience about Expected's performance at the time. I just remember at the World Championship he did some insane shit, right? He did some insane shit at the World Championship that year. The year that they lost to Alliance. Nevertheless, next ones is Febiven, Perks, Caps. So that's the 5, right? And Nemesis will be the 6. I do think that historically, in their prime when they were winning, that these 5 players were better in consideration to Nemesis and his current competition. I am still of the opinion that Perks is a better mid laner. I am still of the opinion that Caps is a better mid laner. Do I believe in a world where Nemesis can compete with the best mid laners in the world at the world stage? Because that to me is what an elite mid laner is. An elite mid laner is a player that is going to be up against rookie and not be like a big liability, right? Maybe even some scenarios be the better player. And to me, I think it's too soon to say, because I think something that is that I easily forget, especially last year, is that was Nemesis' first year in the LEC. I understand he played Spanish League and so forth, but that was his first year in the LEC. This year is his second. And considering, his career, of course he was on Fnatic, so it makes it a lot easier. Considering his career, it's very impressive for 1.5 years. Is there room to grow? Yes. Could he become an elite tier mid laner? Yes. There's the possibility. Is he an elite tier mid laner? Is he a peer to Perks? I don't think so. I just don't think so at this point in time. And to the notion of the worst mid to get it done in the LEC, I think there is some sense to it. But I don't think there is anything insulting about it, because the list is very, very punchy, right? It's very, very punchy. The list is very, very punchy. So my conclusion, definitely could happen. I think this playoffs has been a step in the right direction. I just want to see him succeed in more matters. I want to see him succeed in more matters. Pasta asks, what are your thoughts on Ellis and his analysis of pro games and league in general, not just as a caster? Well, I would say I don't listen to it too much, so I can't give you an abstract opinion, but something that I ask people to bear in mind is if it's very easy to nitpick someone. I could go through Ellis's content and say, oh, this is here, he's wrong, here he's wrong, here he's wrong, here he's wrong. Ellis is a person that has thousands of hours of him talking about the game, thousands and thousands. And this is a position that not a lot of people put themselves in. And I'm sure if someone combed through everything I said, for example, I said that EG have a better 2v2 than C9, this is a bit top kick. I'm just asking for people that have, a negative judgment in regards to some analysts, especially in Ellis's case. I think he has good cred now, you know, Reddit is on his side and so forth, is a good thing for him. And then there's the occasional hater every now and then, but usually, you know, you need to understand that you can't nitpick when a person like Ellis is talking so much publicly. And if you ask for my opinion, I don't know. I don't watch enough to have an opinion, so I apologize. Williamo asks, if Fnatic played versus C9 10 times, how do you think it's gonna go? I honestly think it would go C9-1 to Fnatic. They would win 9 out of 1. I apologize to you C9 fans. Until the next thing that comes up. That's it for this AMA. This was AMA number 11. Time is flying, man. Time is flying. We're already in the 3rd month of the year, and before you know it, it's gonna be all gone. So cherish it and ask a freaking question on Discord or the YamatoCannon subreddit, or also the Patreon page. So thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Okay. Cheerios.